up a game here as Joe does have a top in play. Looks like this game's going relatively long, unsurprisingly. Joe at 7, Ben at 22. Joe gonna play a Vendilion Click, it looks like, in the draw step. Tarmogoyf and Thoughtseize are the cards.
And Divining Top's so important for Joe in this matchup. The games are gonna go very long, especially after sideboarding. Counterbalance is not the lock piece that it typically is against Delver strategies because of Abrupt Decay. And so Divining Top is Joe's best card by a mile.
Tarmogoyf put to the bottom from Vendilion Click, so a mystery card drawn there by Feingersh. Thoughtseize in hand, looks like he might lead out with that. We shall see. It'll be a brainstorm. So, an Underground Sea, Himnotoric, and a Polluted Delta.
Now, from the Sultai Delver side of the table, the discard spells are very, very powerful. And Himnotoric can be really disruptive. An opening Thoughtseize can take away a critical card. But once the game drags out like this and Joe has Divining Top in play, these discard spells aren't worth a lot of them.
Flusterstorm's going to bite the dust. Joe going to spin his top terminus among the cards. Untap hand draw. Click, coming on in. No Caracas among those lands just yet. So Joe's going to try to ride this to victory. Polluted Delta will be sacrificed here by Feingersh. Get yourself a Tropical Island. Mana's good, that's not the issue. Now he just needs action.
Well, the problem is that, you know, he needs to be able to answer the board, and at that point, Divining Top is the best, the best thing going on by a lot. And if he's able to find an answer for the Divining Top, it would be Vendilion Click and Venser, and that's not easy to do either.
See if he wants to hit out with the Thoughtseize, he will. Lossett may have a response here as he reaches for some mana. Joe gonna do a little bit of math here.
The vents are so anemic in this spot.
Yeah, it's nothing special, that's for sure.
Still, is it worth casting on nothing, or is he better served being able to Divining Top and this turn and leave a Scalding Tarn around?
Yeah, I'll just pick up a land. Nothing impressive about that. Feingersh is gonna take 2. Now he gets to play his Deathrite Shaman. Pass the turn back. For Joe, truth be told, he's got to get this game over within about 4 minutes, probably.
Just in terms of having enough time to finish?
Yeah, just for game 3.
When we had Joe on camera earlier playing against a Sultai deck, I believe they started game 3 with 6 minutes left.
Yep.
And Joe was able to get game 3 on his last turn of untimed turns. But I agree with you, the sooner the better.
It was against a Jund deck. Little different. Little, not a ton different, but a little. Oh, no, excuse me. Sultai, you're right. It's a different match. Sultai it was.
Well, the other concern here is, Joe currently has no answer to this Deathrite Shaman. It's lethal in 3 turns.
And he is at 6.
No way to shuffle his deck.
We'll see what he finds. Red Blast among those cards, Terminus 2. That's kind of an answer in a weird roundabout way.
Well, I don't think he wants to Terminus just yet. He's
so.
got the better board, but it's nice to have that as an option somewhere down the line.
Snapcaster Mage is one of the cards he found here. He might just snap right now.
Yeah, no reason to wait. Don't want this getting dazed or some such.
There is snap. Swords there. Put Feingersh up to 12, pass the turn back. Ben's going to have to draw some really good ones in a row here. Nothing doing there, it seems. Joe will draw, very quickly attack here. That'll be for 7. Himnotoric was the draw. This is where you see the discard not be great. The Force Will is pretty bad, too. Get a little info with the Him. Yep, there goes a Red Blast. There will be a concession. Joe Lossett's going to win game number 2 here against Ben Feingersh. Miracle, Sultai Delver, getting ready for game number 3.
And this is an opportunity for Ben's discard spells to get a lot better, because if he's able to, Thoughtseize a Divining Top out of Joe's initial hand, well, then Himnotoric becomes the incredibly disruptive card against control decks we know it can be. But once Divining Top's in play, as we saw, Thoughtseize, Himnotoric, they're worth very little.
Sideboard time, 2 Vendilion Click, 2 Golgari Charm, 2 Disfigure, a Null Rod, a Pithing Needle, a Dread of Night, Liliana the Veil, Spell Pierce, Crozen Grip, Dark Confidant, Himnotoric, Sylvan Library. Those are all one-ofs too. You have to imagine at least the library's in here, but some other good stuff as well.
Oh, definitely. I think Dull Rod and Pithy Needle, again, from Ben's side of the table, I think the battle is almost entirely over Sensei's Divining Top. So being able to answer those cards is very nice. I think the Crozan Grip comes into that end as well. Sylvan Library, Dark Confidant, Hymn to Torak, those are powerful cards in drawn-out games. And the 1 copy of Liliana Veil, the 2 copies of Vendilion, like just some good random raw power to add to a slower matchup.
Other side of things here for Joe.
Is it Staticaster, Sulfur Elemental, Council's Judgment, Pithy Needle, Wear Tear, 2 copies of Red Elemental Blast, and either Horn Canis and Cavern of Souls, and an additional copy of Entreat the Angels, Counterspell, 2 copies of Flusterstorm, 2 copies of Relic of Progenitus. So the relics can come up here. They're low opportunity cost, good against Tarmogoyf, good against Deathrite Shaman. We saw the Red Elemental Blast were in Joe's deck there in that last turn. I think Pithy Needle may come in for Deathrite Shaman and potentially for Liliana of the Veil as well.
We will talk very quickly before game number 3 about the IQ circuit here for Star City Games. Certainly helped Joe qualify for the Player Championship last year when he won the Season 3 points race. Might help him this year as well as we get ready for Season 2.
Yes. Now, there's numerous tiers here of the IQs going all the way up to the 5Ks that we have here on Sundays during Open Series. You can have those at your store as well. And all these kits come with exclusive prizes like playmats, dice bags, creature collection pins, top 8 pins, invitational winner tokens, SCG premium vouchers. Some of these things are given away for everyone who signs up. Some of these are top 8 prizes, but they're all available at your IQs. StarCityGames.com for more information about that.
Game number 3 will be underway in about 13 or 12 minutes here.
Plenty of time for Joe to win. But it probably involves Sensei's Divining Top for him to be able to win quickly because most of his fast kills involve an instant speed and Entreat the Angels for a lot and an attack over 1 or 2 turns.
Sure.
The best way to do that is with Divining Top.
Well, that's the glue that holds the deck together.
Yeah. Best card in Joe's deck, definitely the best card in this matchup.
I am certainly inclined to agree. Feingersh making another good run here in an Open Series event. Starting to see him more here when we do come up to the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
And again, made the top 8 of the Open Series when we were in Providence. And doing pretty well here.
His play's been very solid.
Yeah.
We've had him on camera.
So as these players shuffle and get ready for game number 3, of course, any tweets that you guys do have, join in on the conversation at SCG Live, hashtag SCGWOR, or you can tweet us directly at Basic Mountain, at Cedric A. Phillips. Round number 6 of action here. We'll do 9 a day, we'll do 6 tomorrow, we'll cut to a top 8, we'll do 3 more and crown a champion, give somebody 25 Open Series points, $5,000, and an invite to our Season 2 Invitational at the Origins Game Fair in Columbus in a couple of weeks.
And Joe, definitely one of those players on the hunt for 25 points.
Oh, yeah. He's off to a great start. I mean, this is his weapon of choice. This is his format of choice.
Once Treasure Cruise got banned, I felt like this deck became very powerful again.
It's funny, we think of Joe as a Legacy Specialist, and he certainly is, but he has 4 Standard Open wins to just 1 Legacy Open win.
Though, if you start counting up the IQs and all that invitational performances.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly his streaming is very Legacy focused.
Well, this would be a good time to get that 2nd Legacy win.
In terms of just the top of the resume, Joe is actually a more accomplished Standard player at this point.
Yeah. Joe going to start with the Flooded Strand. Does have a Source of Plowshares, just trying to figure out when's the best time to fire that off. Take a look at the top card. It's Tropical Island there for Feingersh. Verta Catacombs in hand as far as lands are concerned. He's going to start probably by attacking for 1, but we'll see in just a moment. What's interesting in this matchup to me is the use of Abrupt Decay, because, you know, in the Sultai decks, of course, they have Abrupt Decay. It's part of the reason they're playing them, is here's a Ponder. So you have to imagine Joe has moved off the counterbalances.
Yes. Now, you still need to keep Joe honest, so you can't cut all of your Abrupt Decays. Also, Joe is showing some cards like, you know, Vendilion Click, for example, where Abrupt Decay is not a horrible answer. I think that most Sultai players, Delver players that I talk to, side out 1 or 2 copies of Abrupt Decay, but not all of them.
Keep with the Ponder. Here's an attack for 1. Catacombs is the land. Draw a card, will Lossett. Is it a miracle? Looked like it may have been.
Looking at Terminus.
Okay. Volcanic Island.
But Joe is trying to avoid daze as much as possible.
Clearly. There is top. Has to turn back. Revealed Brainstorm. Delver's a 3-2 now. Brainstorm's the draw. Reverted Catacombs will be sacrificed here by Ben. He's down to 19. Tie game for a moment.
Little more complicated than that, but
Oh, you think
going
so?
strictly off of life totals, yeah,
Well, that's all that matters.
got a tied game. That is ultimately how you would determine a winner in most games, so now Joe is losing.
Down to 16 goes Lossett. The follow-up here for Ben is a Brainstorm. That's good to go. Dark Confidant is 1, Brainstorm is 2, Brainstorm is 3. Couple of cards will have to go back here. Looks like you have to put back a Brainstorm and a Tropical Island. Dark Confidant in hand as well. Brainstorm is done resolving. Fetch land? Absolutely, Verdant Catacombs. See if he has any interest in deploying Dark Confidant or perhaps casting an inventory.
I think at this stage, with Joe having resolved Sensei's Divine Top, I want to get Dark Confidant out there. This card's just not that valuable. Certainly has gotten a lot worse.
Yeah.
Crazy,
crazy thing to say about Bob.
And if you happen to find your Pithy Needle or your Null Rod, suddenly your hymn becomes a lot more valuable.
There is Dark Confidant. That's in there. That's going to sacrifice his Flood Strand. Go down to 15. See if he wants a non-basic or a basic here. He'll go with the basic planes. Feingersh's hand, no counter spells, no daze, no force of will. He'll spin the top will set. Looks like just a couple of lands here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Terminus is a good one, though.
sign up for today's standard challenge.
It's one of the best times to find it.
Yep.
You guys want to play some
And with
standard?
Flusterstorm in hand, Joe was ready to fight the fight over Force of Will if it was there, but
We just need
this
a
is the
couple
easier
more
way to do
players
it.
to have enough to start that event.
Joe's cleared the board. Now we move into phase 2 of the game, which has been trying to rebuild the board.
We have standard.
And you see Joe with Source of Plowshares and Brainstorm plus Terminus in hand. He's going to be able to handle multiple waves of threats here.
We also just
Wasteland
need
the
2
draw.
more players for a booster draft.
Wasteland going to go after the Volcanic Island. Lossett may float a mana. Looks like he will. He'll spin it top. Sensei's Divine top in 2 lands.
I mean, there's not much going on with that top, but that's still good news for Joe, because as long as he's making his land drops, things should be pretty good for him.
There's Dark Confidant. Lossett does have an answer to that. He'll draw a card. He's going to draw one of those lands. It'll be a basic plains. He'll play a plains. Looks like a Source of Plowshares. It is. Get Dark Confidant off the table. Feingersh's hand right now, him to Torak, and Abrupt Decay, and I believe a Brainstorm. Let's see what he adds to it. Underground Sea.
And at this point, I think Ben needs to brainstorm now and try to find an answer to Divining Top. Game's getting out of control a little bit.
He can't like the way this game is going.
Now, there is a risk that he gets Brainstorm locked. There's a risk that he finds no threats here, but the upside of finding a needle here, I think, is so high that he's got to at least make a go of it.
No Needle. Confidant, Force of Will, and Spell Pierce, however. Not terrible cards to find.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I would definitely, if I was Ben, be willing to fight quite a bit over this Dark Confidant. I would force a will back against a removal spell here. You just got to get something going.
Well, it looks like he has figured out the 2 cards he wants to put back. Maybe second guessing himself a little bit. Looks like he's actually going to put back Dark Confidant here with the intention of resolving the him. There's a him. Joe's got this Flusterstorm though.
He doesn't really value the top card there of a land and another Divine Top. Was likely to shuffle soon anyway, so no big cost here in having to get rid of that Tarn.
Certainly values the basic island pretty highly.
Yep.
Doesn't have to worry about Wasteland or any other nonsense. And here's Flusterstorm. This will counter this. Storm Trigger. A couple copies on the stack because the Brainstorm was cast first, so Joe explaining that. So him is handled. And now Lossett will spin. Looks like a Relic of Progenitus among the cards. Fetch land 2 and Scalding Tarn. Don't want to ignore that basic island. Give that the respect it deserves as Lossett is reorganizing the cards. We'll take a draw. Here's a Scalding Tarn. That'll be land 4. This is Brainstorm number 1. He knows 2 of the cards. What's that third one? Don't get a great look at it. Looks like it is Vendilion Click. 2 Terminus is going to go on top. The follow-up is a Relic. He'll remove a card. Pass that turn back. About 4 minutes left to go. Dark Confidant to draw. Lossett gonna spin his top. 2 Terminus on top along with a Venser.
So
there is Terminus.
Joe can answer. He can start getting a clock going relatively soon. And now Ben is empty-handed.
Yep. That's exactly how he wants it to go. Island. Joe's navigated this game beautifully to get to this position. He'll Relic away a card. See what Ben reveals. Abrupt Decay. Basically a brick. Here comes Dark Confidant. Yep. There's Vendilion Click. Well, 2 Abrupt Decays in Ben's hand. I guess they'll do a little more than I thought.
Yeah, this is fine. As I mentioned before, it's an okay answer to Vendilion Click. It's not great, but whatever. Killed it.
You can keep it. Might see Joe rearrange now.
Well, I don't know if he wants to shuffle because his top cards are pretty solid.
Well, you know, he's got another Terminus and a Venser here. So we can just put Terminus on top.
Sorry, I thought you meant on the end of the turn using the tar.
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This is totally good.
Yeah, upkeep, take care of this. Remove a card. Leave you the Abrupt Decay in hand. Make you peel a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just need
Thoughtseize is horrible.
Yep. At this stage, if it's in Ben's opening hand, it's great.
Yeah.
But at this stage, it's not doing a lot.
Venser on top now. Joe will draw that. Pass the turn back. Deathrite Shaman. Ben might lead the way with the Thoughtseize. Just going to play Deathrite instead. Pass the turn back. Remove a card. This actually works out pretty well in Joe's favor, too. Not getting that Thoughtseize cast. Vendilion Click there now. Pass turn back. 2 minutes. Another Deathrite. He'll go with Thoughtseize this time. Venser.
Because Joe knows about the Abrupt Decay in Ben's hand, he's not really going to prioritize his Vendilion Click very highly.
Yeah, no reason to. Gonna bounce Deathrite Shaman. See if Ben wants to activate the Deathrite Shaman in response. I suppose with Relic in play, it makes it somewhat difficult.
Your next round pairings
It's a little
are
tricky.
going up. Once again, Legacy Challenge.
Couple Deathrites.
Players. Your next
Pass
round
the turn back.
pairings
Joe's
are
gonna have to
going
find a way
up.
to work through these.
So I played several copies of Terminus.
Yep. He's got about 1 minute to do it in. Now, if he finds Treaty Angels again, life is good. Life is easy. We saw that last time.
This is a reminder,
There's the
we're gonna
basic
be
mountain.
closing side events at 6 p.m. That's in less than 1 hour.
But that's how quickly Joe can get this turn around. He's been playing defense this whole time. If he can find Entreat, he flips it into a one-turn kill.
Terminus is one of the cards found. Looks like he's going to put that on top. Island and Cavern Souls are the others. And I'd be good with the Terminus here. Get this stuff off the table again. You know your opponent's hand. See if he has any interest in spinning. He'll relic, and then he'll pass. Abrupt Decay in Ben's hand, picked up a Verdant Catacombs, nothing doing. Jace the Mind Sculptor has been found. 1 minute left to go. There is Jace. Jace is going to go up, maybe. Yes. Fate Seal. Take a look. Null Rod?
Legacy Open, that is
Yeah. Joe wants no part of that.
Yeah, bottom's up there.
time
Relic.
in
By force of will,
round.
pass the turn back. Is Ben willing to fire off here with Abrupt Decay yet? Nope. Just take a draw. Ponder. Not bad. That might find him what he's looking for. Joe can't do anything. Deathrite, Pluto Delta, Hymnotorac. One of those cards is good, the others are bad.
Much the same story that we saw there in game 2 that we came in. The discard may be good early on in the game, but once we get to Divine top stage, it doesn't really do very much.
Ben is turn 0, Joe will be turns 1, 3, and 5. Joe needs some angels.
And no way to shuffle. With Sensei's Divine Top, Jace, and Relic, he has a lot of ways to dig for additional cards.
There's Abrupt Decay to go after the Relic.
Very nice play there from Ben while Joe was tapped out, so he couldn't sack it to draw a card. Because at this point, Ben knows the spot that Joe's in. He needs to find Entreat. Every card that cantrips is potentially that Entreat the Angels.
See a Brainstorm here with Jace. There's a Cavern of Souls. It is naming Wizard. Here's Venser, bounce there. Pass the turn back. Ben gonna sacrifice his fetch land. He'll go down to 14, get a land out of his deck. There's Tropical Island.
Ben wanting to shuffle here because Joe fate sealed something to the bottom. Wanted to see if it was a goodie. It was the Null Rod, so he knows that Joe's pulling straight up here.
Yeah, gotta know, gotta look.
Not doing any Jace fate seal you sort of shenanigans.
Take a draw. Tarmogoyf. That's 1. Deathrite is 2. Spin the top. Can he find Entreat the Angels? Just another land as that third card down. This is the last turn to find it.
Yeah, Joe still gets turn number 5.
That could be the turn that he attacks for the win.
And Ben's empty-handed, so we've seen before where Joe has to entreat and leave some mana up so he doesn't get dazed or pierced. This time he can rip it off for the full amount.
It'll be a Brainstorm. Is that third card down and Entreat the Angels? It doesn't appear to be. And it's not a fetch land either. But he gets to see a third card down again because of the top.
Yep, he has to squeeze one card deeper.
Yep. 2, 3. Pyroblast. Looks like the Miracle Man's playing for a draw now. Pass the turn back. Tarmogoyf the draw. There's a block with Venser. There's another Tarmogoyf. Oddly enough, this game might be difficult for Joe. It's turn 5. He'll spin the top one more time. Jace the Mind Sculptor in there.
Yeah, oddly enough, even though usually unchecked Jace for several turns equals a win, in this spot it's still in the air.
Yeah.
And perhaps Ben was actually the one favorite if this got to the
Yeah,
end.
it seems that way, honestly. Joe will spin one more time. It would be a Brainstorm on top of the deck. It's going to be a draw here between these two players. All they can do is shake hands and move on to 5-0-1. So Ben Feingersh playing Sultai Delver and Joe Lossett playing Miracles. They'll pick up a draw here. That can happen sometimes. Both these decks do take a little while to close things out.
Certainly, sometimes you get some fast games because Miracles either doesn't draw Divine Top or it's stripped out of their hand, and the Sultai Delver deck just casts stuff and attacks. But most games look like that.
Yep.
Goes on for a very long time, and unfortunately for both players there,